everyone, and welcome. And today we have a special guest in the house. Her name is Michele. I'm really excited to have Michele here with us. Michele, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about you, your business, and how do you help others?
Absolutely. So, my name is Michele Novack. I'm the founder of Cardinal Bice Cybersecurity Risk Management Company. And if there's one thing that I've learned on my journey and what I do, it's never too late to reinvent yourself and become truly unstoppable. I've spent 30 years in the world of finance, but in my 50s, I decided to make a stakes pivot. Went back to school, became a cyber engineer, and founded Cardinal Bites. I realized that so many entrepreneurs, especially those in the tax and accounting space, were working tirelessly to build their dreams, but they were leaving the back door wide open for digital threats and crushing IRS and FTC audits. But I'm not just a tech person, LaDonna. I'm an author at heart. My books, 21 Days of Abundance and Overcoming Your Fears as an Entrepreneur, I talk about the mindset it takes to grow. And I believe cybersecurity isn't actually a technology problem. It's more of a trust asset, right? It's my mission to kind of just move business owners out of that digital anxiety and into a state of abundance. I want to help them automate that scary part, so they can stop looking over their shoulder and start looking forward. I build the vault so they can focus on the treasure, right? Their clients, their connections, and their legacy. But that's who I am.
That is awesome. So, if I ask you, what is probably the number one security issue out there that you help people with?
So I would say the number one security issue that's out there as of today is obviously cyber threats and attacks. It's not only against the infrastructure, but it's also against their websites, their phones, the deep fakes, AI. That's where it's at today, right? And not knowing really what to do or what you need to protect yourself is probably the biggest gap. And thinking it's thousands and thousands of dollars to do that is also completely the biggest gap that I'm seeing as well. So,
Awesome. And there is a lot of security issues out there. I don't know if you deal with this kind of issues or not, but my Facebook has been hacked and stolen from me. My Instagram hacked and stolen from me. I felt like my whole world was coming unglued because I didn't know what else did they have in mind. Because we put everything out there.
yes.
Everything's out there. Credit cards, children, grandchildren pictures. It's all out there. And I know I'm not the only one because you buy stuff online, your information is there. You post a picture, you talk. You talk when your computer or laptop, your phone is around and it automatically knows what you're talking about. And then you start getting ads because you talked about something. It's quite ridiculous. My husband and I were looking the other night at a cruise. Within 10 minutes, probably 5 or 6 ads came across our cell phones. And we weren't doing anything with the cell phones. I guess it just hurt us talking about it. So, do you deal with things like that pretty often? And how can we make sure we're more secured when it comes to that?
Yeah, so LaDonna, everything is listening today, right? Security is not really security. I tell everybody there's no 100% guarantee. So the way the world works today, and really that listening, you condone that, right? When you have your phone, you have the Alexa, you have any other automated things in your house that's tied into security. They want to know what you like, what you do, and it's all built into their algorithms today. Right. And the biggest thing that you can do and you can do is shut those things off if you don't want it. Right. And I tell everybody, making sure that you protect yourself first and your identity is critical. Understanding what's out there against you on the web is even more critical. People should really sign up for a good antivirus, right? The standard antiviruses are great out there, but they don't really cover and handle the depth of security that you need. And that's probably the most important if you're an individual or even a professional, right? My Facebook was hacked as well. They created a whole new wonderful thing. They started running ad campaigns. I was like, what's going on? And I'm in cybersecurity. But it wasn't my problem. It was Facebook's problem, right? So again, we rely on all of these websites to provide us essentially a level of protection. But most of these websites don't have the infrastructure built in to do that. And you can do that on your own website as well. And that's critical, right? Making sure that you're having something monitor that website, blocking all of those attacks. I just had a client, LaDonna, last Friday call me. Her website was having what they call a card attack. A card attack is when they go into your payment, they say they want to buy something. They issued a bot that was trying to post payments to see which one is good. That's what they do here, right? And I'm keeping it in layman's term, not to confuse anybody, but technically, basically that bot was just running payments through their payment system to see which credit card was good. And that's what they were doing. Over 30,000 hits. We had to shut down her site. We had to contact her merchant. It became a nightmare for her, right? 3 days rebuilding her website, right? I had to sit there and I helped her, and these are the things that are going on out there. So, again, there are a lot of things that you can do from a perspective, but I want to help people identify their gaps. And I think that's the most important. I don't want to scare them, right? I want to empower them. If you go to
Yeah.
my site and you take a 2-minute resilience quiz, you're going to see if your firm is truly audit ready or not. Bottom line. Again, there's so many regulations and they're changing constantly. It's hard to keep up with them. So,
You're right about that. I mean, I'm not a guru like you are, but I know that when I was redoing my website 6 months ago or so, there were so many changes from the time before when I built my website. I don't build it all by myself. I have to have my crew to help me with it. But there were so many legalities you're supposed to have connected to your website now, the right words and the right places and the right phrases. And I'm like, oh, back in the day, it was just put your stuff on the website that you wanted to sell or wanted to show, and you were done, right? But Michelle, it's not that way anymore. You
yeah.
have to have all the legalities on there. So you said a key word, and I wanted to pick up on this word because we hear it all the time, but I don't think people really realize what is an algorithm and how does it work. Can you define that for us in terms that us regular people can understand?
Yeah, it's a great question, right? Think about Einstein, right? Algorithms are there to identify patterns. I'm going to keep it very simple.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful back end, monitoring, if you would, system that constantly digests information. And what it does is it just keeps layering and layering and looking for all of these anomalies. And as it looks for those anomalies, it aligns with whether it's marketing, services, small business, coaching, it doesn't matter, right? Algorithms are built into these massive search engines, right? And all of your AI tools today, right? GPT, all of them, Claude, Google Gemini, any one of them. But every platform uses an algorithm to identify. So even when you're running your new website, right, you have an engine that's built behind that to identify people who are visiting your sites, right? What's the most potential if they clicked off it, how long they were on it. These are all algorithms, to keep it very simple. And it's giving you data. And it's giving you data so you can either grow your business, compile a strategy, or whatever else you need. But that's what an algorithm is. It's very simple but complex, right?
Yes. A lot of people don't understand algorithms. I teach it every day. In very small terms and very small areas, like the algorithm of Facebook. A lot of people will get really confused with that because, as we know, if you don't follow the algorithms, Facebook will just come out and block you, period. And you're done for 24 hours or a week or ever. It depends on what mood she's in. I don't know. Um, but I'm always, when my clients come in, they'll say, oh, but I want to post every hour on the hour. And I'm like, No, you do not, because that's not what the algorithm's looking for. It will shut you down. So I think it's very important for people to know what is an algorithm, and the way you did it, where people can really understand it. The normal person can understand the layering effects to an algorithm. So thank you for that.
You're
So
welcome.
out there in the world today, what is probably the biggest issue that you have out there? That is it AI? Do you think it's AI? What is it?
Well, from a cybersecurity perspective, I think most of my clients feel overwhelmed by tech, right? And a lot of people feel overwhelmed by tech. It's moving so fast, nobody knows how to keep up with it, right? And it's only going to become more and more projective as we go into the future and quantum computer kicks in. But the biggest thing that I'm seeing, right, is people are not understanding how to use that technology to A, grow their business, um, understand their clients, handle their own personal affairs, whatever it might be. It's gone so fast that you, with a click of a button today, you can build an app, right? You can build an application for yourself. That's why we focus on automation, right? Entrepreneurs shouldn't be IT managers. I always say that. If you're worrying about, the NYDFS regulations or IRS or the FTC safeguards, and you aren't out there using AI today, um, you're losing, right? But you have to move from that manual anxiety, right, that you have about compliance or keeping your information safe and kind of go into what we call a zone of genius, as I like to say. You have to kind of get out there and do what you need to do. But the biggest thing is people don't even understand what AI is doing. People think going into Chat GPT, oh, I'm going to ask, how do I create a recipe? Yeah, that's great, right? But it's so much more than just that. Hackers are using this technology to hack you. They don't even today need to sit there like they used to behind the scenes and try to do all of the OSNet to try to find who you are, get into your systems. They have leveraged the next phase of AI to do the hacking for them and save them time so they can target more and more and more people, right? The fact of the matter is 63% of all small businesses are hacked in the first year. And out of them, about I want to say 70% go out of business because if you have a ransomware attack or you're breached, the average cost today is about 150,000 to a small business owner. You can't survive that.
No, we
So
really can't,
no, you can't. No one
nor
can.
do we
I
want
mean,
to.
even if you have cyber insurance, if you don't understand that policy, LaDonna, and what it covers and what you are required to have in order for them to cover, they're not going to pay. And
Well,
that's the
the
truth.
normal person don't understand that. We don't know what's in that policy. We're not going to understand what's in that policy. So we hopefully are smart enough to have someone help us through it. But then you're depending on someone else, and something could very easily be missed.
Yes.
I know just a little bit that I did with my website, like we talked about before. It was a lot to understand. I had to go and get a what I would call a guru guy with websites to say, can you just put on the words that I need so that hopefully I'm secured when it comes time to hackers to come on. That's all I can hope for. And it was a lot. There was a lot of language that had to be added so that if I was hacked, that what I was responsible for my clients, what my clients should be responsible for,
Right.
things like that. So yeah, this has been great, Michele. This is a lot. Is there any last minute things that you want to say before we leave here today?
Well, I think the thing I want to share most is it's about we want to give them a compliance scorecard, right? And instead of wondering where you're at, what you don't know, what you see, what you can't see, you should reach out to an expert. Like you said, you went to a guru. It's so important to ask the questions and reach out to people who are in these fields that can help you. And there's a lot of free resources out there that people are not aware of. go and look them up, right? Just do a simple Google, search, and you'll find what you're looking for. You have to shift that mindset. I always tell everybody, shift your mindset. I'm too small to be targeted. I don't need this. Hackers don't just want your data, they want the data at a very high level, and they want to make sure that you're not protecting yourself. And that's what it's all about, right? So act as a leader. You own a business, your data is your asset. Bottom line. That's your number one asset is your data in the business world
You
today.
said some key words there. Shift your mindset. I'm all about that. I'm teaching it every day. Shift your mindset. That's on everything you do in your life. Yourself, your business, your family, shift your mindset. Same thing with security, your
Right.
assets. You have to secure your assets. Because if you don't, someone's going to come in and steal them right out from under you. And you have no idea what they're doing with them. That's the crazy thing. You don't know how far will they take it. We don't
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
We don't know. This has been awesome, Michele. Thank you so very much for being here. Everyone watching this now, I know you're going to get some great conversations going with this piece. And until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.